I am Thor, son of Odin, and as long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say.
Great, another broken white boy for us to fix.
That's my secret, Cat.
I'm always angry.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are. With great power comes great responsibility.
I can do this all day.
Wakanda forever!
And welcome, Internet, to another episode of Views from the 616, the blackest MCU podcast in the multiverse, powered by For All Nerds, where we discuss everything in the MCU from the perspective of people of color. And it is one of your hosts, Tatiana King, a.k.a. the Book of Ashanti, a.k.a. Doc Aki, a.k.a. the Wicked Witch of the West View, a.k.a. the coldest winter soldier ever. And I am here going dolo, talking all things episode 5 of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. This episode is titled Mean, Green, and Straight Poured Into These Jeans. The unfortunate, I guess this is her status that one of the things that she put into her dating profile. It's very dreadful. It's very sad. That being said, I'm going to tell you a little bit of the things I liked, the things I disliked, maybe some Easter eggs, and also just what I foresee for going in the future down the line. So my overall feelings for this episode, I really enjoyed it. I actually believe it was the best one thus far. It's episode 5 of a 9-episode run. And I think the reason why I really appreciated this episode is because it had the balance I've been looking for, the balance I've been yearning for. If you listen to our review, Ben Amin and I reviewed episode 4 of She-Hulk, we weren't really feeling the tonality of the episode, and we weren't really quite sure. Like, it's understood that this is supposed to be a fun series. Like that's not lost on us at all. But there's also has to be a good approach, right? Approach that really makes sense, especially for people like us who are, yes, we're fans at number one, but we're also looking at it with a critical lens. We want to enjoy it, but also want it to make sense, even in our enjoyment. So that being said, I thought this was a home run for Jessica Gao and the team who did She-Hulk. This episode 5 was it. Like, I felt that it had everything I was looking for, and it didn't have any unnecessary action just for the sake of action. Like, it wasn't just shoehorned in just to say, oh, well, there's some action. Like, the main thing that intrigues me the most about the She-Hulk series is the concept of her navigating real-world implications of being a superhero or a superpower person, and how that affects the day-to-day life of that person and the society that they affect. And also, yes, it's fun, so it's funny too. And I felt like this episode had it all. And I also felt like this episode was stronger without all the extra cameos, right? No Bruce Banner. We already know, or Professor Hulk, rather. We already know he's out on a Sicarian ship. Who knows what's about to happen? Some world Hulk stuff. No Wong this time, right? Like, last episode was all Wongers and Madison. And, after a while, like, we get it, but it gets a little corny. And so I'm glad that this was really primarily, generally anyway, focused on her, as well as her interactions with Titania. Titania, whom in the comics is like a longtime foe, but again, we're seeing just a different way of how she's being presented in the TV series. So let's talk about the things that I loved about this episode. Number one for me, I love the introduction of Luke Jacobson, this superhero costume designer guy who has the almost exact personality of Edna Mode. If you know who Edna is, if you don't, I'm gonna explain it to you. Edna is the suit designer who designed costumes and things for the soups in Disney Pixar's The Incredibles. And The Incredibles have just a long time been such an incredible series, and also just one that was one of my faves. So, and Edna has been a crowd favorite forever. So I like that they took some piece of her personality and put them in this version of Luke. I mean, and you can see all of Edna in him, from the speech cadence to the no nonsense attitude to even the glasses. Like, you see the influence of Edna Mode there. And obviously this is all Disney at the end of the day. So all they did was borrow from themselves because they got it like that. But I appreciated it. And I also found out that there's actually is a Luke Jacobson character from the old school Marvel comics who was a fashion designer to the heroes. So it's an amalgamation of the real character, Edna, and some new actor stuff sprinkled in there, right? I would say overall, I love the tone of the episode. as mentioned, it struck a really, to me, perfect balance between being fun, introducing new characters. Like we got to see and really be introduced to Mallory Book, like in more fullness than just that quick like shot of her from the previous episode. Like you really got to hear her speak and how she goes about life and how she's not about the rah-rah and all that stuff. Like she's here to do her job. She's here to be fine as hell. And she's here to, take no prisoners. And I love that about her. And I also like that when we come to talking about tone, we gave more TV time to the supporting characters like Titania. I have said before that I wanted to see more of her, and I got that. Some more comments about her later. Now, I want to mention just again something that I talked about a lot with episodes or the previous episode 3 and 4. The various concerns that I've had about how people treat Jen Walters. It's clear that like they don't want her in particular. They want She-Hulk. Despite the fact that technically they're one and the same person, they want that facade of She-Hulk and what She-Hulk represents or what they think she represents or what they want her to represent. And unfortunately, in doing that, they cast Jen Walters aside. And the reason why I voiced that concern from a purely story perspective, I think it's a good thing from understanding this character is because it's absolutely critical in relating to Jen Walters. She's a new MCU character. It helps you better understand where she's coming from. It helps you better connect with her and the things that she's going through. So that's why it's so important to see this treatment and how she's working around it, right? It's not just also, I want to say it's not just pure suffering. Like you get to see, okay, well, how is she being supported by the people in her life that love her? And also how is she not being supported? And for you to really see that this is point blank happening and how that also happens in real life. So I appreciated that. And seeing more of this as we continue and how it affects her day to day, I think it's something that we were missing from the previous episode and just really previously, just that connection point. So I actually really felt for her and really felt where she was coming from a little bit more because you got to see more of the heart of Jen Walters as opposed to her self-deprecating attitude all the time. I thought, for one, that it was hilarious that even as a lawyer, Jen never even thought about to trademark her own nickname or legally protect it in any way. But again, who was really thinking about that, right? She even said to herself, she's still finding her own way, her own path. She's still coming to the acceptance of her new self, her body, everything about it. So she's not trying to get personal gain from it. That's probably the last thing, as even she explains, is the last thing on her mind. It also kind of gives you some of the insight into the pitfalls of what happens when a regular person becomes a celebrity overnight. This is super freaking common in real world, in the current world, which right now I feel is almost exclusively functions through the lens of social media. And you can say or do something one day, and then the next day, everyone in 10 countries know who you are, and people are giving you nicknames and this and that, and you're corn kid, and it just goes off the deep end really, really fast. And it just shows you how little control you really do have of the general public and of personal sentiment, and also what that struggle might look like, especially in the light of what could be a superhero. And it also just tells you about like some of the real world things when it comes to the legality of like trademarking and ownership of oneself and one's image. The things that might or should kind of nowadays start popping up into your mind. Like, how do you protect yourself? How do you protect your image, your IP? And then plus also just point out that Titania, she's just a greedy, jealous biatch. I also really love the supporting cast in this episode. I love the interactions between Pug and Nikki and this whole rendezvous with the drip broker, and all the shenanigans that ensue with all of that. I just thought it was just perfectly played. Pug and Nikki played really well off of each other. They're pretty funny together. And I personally just like the environment that they build around Jen as her friends. Like they're there to support her. They're there to uplift her and also just make her laugh. And even just them alone by themselves, Pug and Nikki, they're just fun to watch interact with each other. And I just also like Mallory Book, and she's becoming more of a supportive character. Jen slipped up and was like, "Oh, you're my friend now." And Mallory was like, "We're friends now." But I can tell, like, Mallory, even though she's that straight-faced, powerful winner type, like at the same time, she has an empathetic heart, and she's cool as hell when she lets you get to know her. All right. Because I really, truly enjoyed this episode and I thought it was so well balanced, so well paced, and I loved the tone, I didn't really dislike much in this episode except one thing, and that's Titania. Now, as of episode 5, there are 9 episodes, so there's only 4 more left. As of now, she's pretty one note. Like, all she is about, She-Hulk aggravates me. And all right, that's cool. We understand you're the narcissistic, overbearing, greedy, generally unfriendly, hottie type. Get it. And yeah, she has funny quips here and there, but personally, as a character, in my view, there's nothing particularly distinct about her. And there's not much depth. It's just, oh, she's the jealous bully type that wants to get her way and all that. Okay, I get it. And yeah, I understand her being a lighter character because it's a lighter show. I get it, y'all. That's not lost upon me or Ben Hameen. This is not hate. This is how we provide criticism, right? You can love something, enjoy and appreciate it, and also have criticism towards it. It's not hate, y'all. So hopefully we'll see more of what makes Titania, maybe a little bit more depth into as we go into the last 4 episodes. But right now, besides the fashions and stuff, I guess she's not really giving for me. And she's kind of forgettable at this point. And finally, I just want to go into some of the Easter eggs or observations that I've seen for this episode. I was crying because I didn't mention him last time because I wasn't 100% sure, but one of the people that Jen Walters dating is real life actor David Otunga, who used to be engaged to Jennifer Hudson. He wrestled for the WWE for years. And then even prior to all of that, he was actually first seen as a contestant on I Love New York. And so I was just standing because he looks different. He looks a little bit different in the face. And as I was standing, I'm like, that's David Otunga. So for those who watch wrestling and have all that other pop culture stuff in your mind, yes, that is who you think it is. He is one of the people that Jen went on a date with and also humiliates her on the witness stand. But she won. So, hey, it is what it is. And finally, we have the Daredevil gold helmet. We see that as the last frame when Luke is saying, don't be leaving our client stuff out in the open. You got to be discreet with it. And we see in this hat box, we see the tip of the gold suit Daredevil helmet with the little horns sticking out. This is complete continuity, right? So in the Netflix series, Daredevil lost his suit during his battle with Bullseye. And from there, Matt Murdock, he went on with his original all black outfit that he made homemade. And he just went along with that in the final season. So now that he has come back into the fold of the MCU proper, they're continuing not with the red suit that everyone was used to from the Netflix series, but the more traditional yellow costume. And in fact, he had this yellow costume during his early vigilante days, which he later replaced, but he had a yellow and black outfit to pay respect for his father, who used to wear a boxing robe with the similar colors before every boxing match. So that was an homage to his dad. So that's why his suit was that colored. And Marvel's trying to bring that all full circle and probably also make the timeline distinction that, hey, this is MCU, even though technically Netflix was the MCU, but this is the MCU right now, proper Daredevil, and this is the costume y'all gonna get. Get it? Get it. All right, so that is my review of She-Hulk episode 5. Thank you so much for listening to this review. Thank you so much for listening to Views from the 616. Please make sure you are following For All Nerds on your favorite podcast platform. That's how you listen to Views from the 616, where we review all things Marvel, MCU, be it Disney Plus, the films, TV, just everything in between. That's what we do on this particular show. Make sure you're also following us, Views from 616 on the Twitters. You can also follow me personally. I'm at Tatiana King. And please do me a favor. If you enjoy this review, if you enjoy all the reviews we do, if you enjoy the other shows that we do under the For All Nerds umbrella, please support us. You can do that by sharing, tagging your friends, listening, obviously, to these episodes and telling other people to listen to us. And even more importantly, you can help us financially. Go to patreon.com/forallnerds. Every tier is an incredible tier. You get special perks no matter what. Just make sure you're part of the financial fam. And you can also support us through our TeePublic page. That's our merch page. So you see me, I'm wearing a Would You Like to F Around and Find Out Miss Minutes shirt. Miss Minutes from Loki. We have this and some more really fire designs that you can put on a variety of products like hoodies, shirts, cups, everything, masks, everything is all there. teepublic.com/stores/4on-nerds. And as always, please thank you so much for your love, your support, and we will see you for more She-Hulk episode 6.